Welcome back to the the week 7 best DFS tips with our resident DFS expert, Jordan Vanek. Today we are talking about the best players to start at each position as far as DFS goes. We're going to start at quarterback. We're going to work our way down. Jordan, let's start with the quarterback position. Who is your favorite start of the week at quarterback right now?
So there's two, but I'm going to lean Geno Smith over Lamar Jackson. Both of these quarterbacks have been in the 90th percentile against zone coverages. Both of these quarterbacks will see zone coverage on pretty much every dropback that they take this upcoming weekend. Geno Smith has struggled against man coverage. That's what we've seen a lot of the last 2 weekends. But when he played the Detroit Lions, when he played the Carolina Panthers, those teams exclusively lived in zone coverage. He threw for over 300 yards. He's very comfortable doing it. So for me, Geno and Lamar are my two favorite quarterbacks heading into this weekend. Lamar's another guy. He's been top tier in the league against zone coverages. And just like I said, the Lions play a lot of zone coverage.
You absolutely love to see it. Do you think this could be the biggest game of Lamar's season? I mean, he's had a couple 28-point games so far. Do you think this could get into the 30 range if all things go right?
So the difficult part about it is that I don't know how much, like he had a 100-yard rushing game in one of those. I don't know if he's going to be as productive in the run game and get those rushing touchdowns, but from a passing standpoint, he should have his most productive day as a passer.
I love that. What about the running back position? Where are we going this week? Is there somebody that you're paying up for? Is there someone you're going a little bit cheaper for? Like, how do you see the running backs playing out?
So one thing I wanted to point out with the Cardinals, because they're a team that everybody's going to be attacking this weekend with Kenneth Walker. He's the chalkiest running back in the slate. Their numbers are significant. They give up a lot of, rushing yards and points to the running back position. But every game this year, they face a running back that saw 20 targets plus carries. I feel like we don't see many running backs get that on a weekly basis, but they have seen it every single week. Kenneth Walker is a fine play. Zach Charbonnet, I believe, is dealing with a hamstring issue. So obviously Kenneth Walker is a great player to play against the Cardinals. I'm not sure I'm going to be buying into it if I'm double stacking Geno, but you can play them both together. Kenneth Walker was phenomenal against the Panthers, while Geno threw for over 300. The player I want to talk about, though, is Isaiah Pacheco. He's basically the second best weapon on the Chiefs. Everybody wants these receivers to kind of finally find a role and get on the field. Rashee Rice has been their best player, but we haven't seen them commit to him whatsoever. So for me, Pacheco, he's had over 17 targets plus carries in 4 straight games. We know the Chargers' run defense is not up to par, and we know they're going to treat it differently than they did against Dallas, because Dallas, they actually loaded the box and really zoned in on that run game. This game against the Chiefs, you do not want Patrick Mahomes to get going, so I think Pacheco is a big one.
I think the best thing about both of these guys is the fact that they're both starting to heat up a little bit. Like, we're starting to see better and better games, what feels like each and every week. And maybe this is the biggest game that they have on top of that, continuing to heat up. But what about the wide receiver position? Obviously, the most players, the most confusing. Where are we going this week with so many different options that we could choose from?
So in my Geno stacks, I lean Tyler Lockett over DK Metcalf. Tyler Lockett's been the zone guy for him, and I feel like every time that Tyler Lockett's played the Cardinals, it's just been a bigger game for him. That's just from a zone coverage standpoint and just playing the hypothetical or playing the pass game and stuff like that. But the receiver that I love most is Terry McLaurin. He's against cover one coverage, which the Giants use a ton of. 3.12 yards per route run, 28% target share. Obviously, we've seen Jahan Dotson not get a lot of love. Terry McLaurin against the Giants has been a killer for them for multiple years now. Last year was no different than any other year that they've played. And I think this is another spot for Terry McLaurin to get it done down the field. And then the other receiver that I would like to talk about is Christian Watson. Broncos versus 10-plus air yard throws. Worse in completion percentage, worse in yards per attempt. Christian Watson, 6 of his 11 targets this year are over 10 yards down the field. That's where Jordan Love wants to throw the ball, and that's where Christian Watson's going to get the ball.
You are speaking to my regular fantasy teams that have so much Christian Watson that have yet to fully break out. I hope that this is the week. But what about the tight end position, the reverse wide receiver, where there are not many options to go from? There aren't any tight ends this week that even have truly, really great matchups. So where is this needle in a haystack? Or are we just going to play it up and pay up for it and play it safe?
I'm paying up for Mark Andrews. He's just too cheap for what he is to this team. He obviously has a huge target share against zone coverage because he has that comfortability with Lamar Jackson. He averages over 2.3 yards per route run against it, 24% target per route run. Obviously, we saw him miss time in the beginning of the season. I'm not a big Mark Andrews guy from a season-long perspective this past year because of where he was going. But right now at 5,700, like, he's 2,300 cheaper than Kelsey on DraftKings, and that's just too big of a price gap for me. I think Mark Andrews should be somewhere in that 6,500 range this week.
I love that. I love that. That is the best 5 DFS tips. Oh, wait, we are not done
Defense.
yet. We forgot the defense. As always, the defense is forgettable, but that is why we talk about it each and every week. Where are we going at defense this week? Where is the price that you are finding at best right now to give us a chance to win that $1 million?
Kansas City Chiefs at 2,400 are too cheap. I know the Chargers, everybody thinks about their offense, Justin Herbert, Eckler, Keenan Allen. What people don't kind of give respect right now is the Kansas City Chiefs defense is probably one of the best in football, top probably 6 defense, if I had to say. They built this thing the last 3 years. That's what they've been spending draft capital in. That's what they found guys that are gems late in the draft. Their corners are probably, I would say, top 5 room at the cornerback position with L'Jarius Sneed, Trent McDuffie, and I can't think of their other outside corner at the moment, but their defense is phenomenal. They are fast, they are aggressive, they play this man coverage, they keep 2 safeties deep, and they're stopping the run. So for me at 2,400, Justin Herbert just saw a man defense against Dallas, played probably his worst game as a pro from what I have seen. So for me, the Chiefs at 2,400, and if you want to pay up a little bit more, the Atlanta Falcons 2,800 versus Baker Mayfield is another defense that I'm eyeing.
Oh, I absolutely love that. That Atlanta secondary, so underrated, playing way better than I think people are looking at or talking about right now. I'm excited to see them this week as well. But those are actually the 5 best DFS tips for week 7. Don't forget to join us every single Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern time for the best 5 tips, because Jordan is the best in the business when we're talking DFS. But don't forget to like, subscribe, turn the bell notifications on, and keep tuning into more 33rd team goodness coming out each and every single day.